How you doing today? How you doing today? Welcome back to the Count It All Joy podcast with your boy Will, and I'm back on the episode today. On today, most of these episodes, a lot of these episodes, I haven't posted yet on YouTube, so you guys can't really see me. But I got a beanie on because I look kind of crazy. Uh, I'm off no cut, haven't shaved in a minute. So I just put a beanie on, I guess for the aesthetic. But my hair is kind of crazy. I still have braids in. I guess I'm wolfing them, but that's besides the point. That's not why we're here today. Um, yeah, I hope you guys have had an amazing week. Uh, Today though, I want to talk about something that it's kind of it's kind of related to what I was talking about a few. Was I talking about this last week or a few weeks ago? Nah, I guess it was a few episodes ago. But talking about like shining your light, this is kind of similar, but not really. It's not the same, but it falls under this. But I want to talk about the impact we leave on people and how we can impact people, how important it is. Uh, and this episode is kind of derived from, well, I'll just tell you what it is. But yeah, that's basically the gist of this episode today. So I hope you guys enjoy. Uh, but yeah, I kind of sparked up this thought, or how I was gonna talk about it today because shoulder. I just recently had senior night yesterday, and it's it's crazy. I haven't had senior night in over 4 years, obviously since my senior year in high school, and it's just crazy. It's a great experience. Uh, you get to relish that time with family, and you get to enjoy that time with family, and felt loved and supported with your family and friends, and obviously your teammates who've been there throughout the whole season, but. With your family they're not normally there with you during the season physically, and they all get to come there and support you and celebrate you. So that's always a good thing, and uh, just the love you receive. But I I wanted to talk about how like, we impact people, and it was derived from senior night, because there were just so many people there from the school, right? Obviously, I knew my family. I knew like my immediate family; they were gonna be there for me. But what kind of uh made me a little bit emotional, or kind of made me feel some type of way, in a great way. Like it made me feel it was like, it warmed my heart a little bit. It was the fact that there were people from the school, like my classmates, my associates, people I just happened to walk past on campus, and they were expressing how much I meant to them, and um, that how much they cared about me, and the love that I've shown them. They were expressing that to me, and telling me how I've expressed love to them, and it just felt good. People gave me gifts, things like that. I didn't know I was gonna receive anything, so it was just a great experience, and it just kind of made me think about like the impact we leave on people, and how we can be intentional about impacting people, and uh, just being good stewards, and trying to uh, positively affect people, obviously in the right way. That's probably redundant. Um, Again, it's not gonna be a long episode, but I just wanted to get some important points off, and But first, I want to talk about how we can leave an impact. Well, we leave impacts, or we leave an impact, or we leave an impact on people even when we don't really recognize it sometimes, and that's something I've had to learn. Like you can leave an impact on somebody that you just walk past in a Kroger or a Walmart. Now, obviously, if that happens, you'll never know if you did or not. But a lot of times you can. It could be a situation where you're in a. Like, I remember it was the other day. I was at Walmart, and I'm just thinking about this now. But now that since I'm talking about it, it makes me think of certain stuff like this. But I was in Walmart the other day. I was just walking through. I forgot what I was going there for. I was trying to get something, but it was a elderly man. He was shorter than me, and people, my teammates can call me short because they're giants, but I'm not short like that. I'm on the taller side when it comes to average height. I'm in that 6 feet area. I'm 6 feet tall. So let's not get into that. All right. Anyway, it was an elderly guy, an elderly man. He was shorter than me, and I'm like 6 feet tall, so he was about like 5'5" maybe. He's like my boy Austin's height. I'm trolling. Austin a little bit taller than that. Anyway, he was pretty short, and he couldn't reach the top of the shelf or the top of the thing. But I was walking past. I didn't even recognize him. I didn't even peep him. And he's like, "Oh, sir, sir, sir." And at first, I thought he thought I worked there. And I was like, I don't work here, sir. But I was like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Can you reach up top and grab that?" And it was just a coffee maker he wanted. But I got up there, um, and I grabbed it for him. And he was just telling me how much he appreciated it, and that made his day and all of that. Now I don't know how long that dude was sitting there or standing there for. I imagine not that long. Uh, but all I did was grab that coffee maker for the guy, and he was just telling me for like a couple minutes how much he appreciated, and that's the coffee maker he needed, and he bought this Keurig and it broke. He bought two Keurigs and it broke. He wasted $50. He was telling me all of this stuff and how that made his day, and hopefully this one works out and stuff like that. He's saying that hope I have a great day. I stay blessed and all of that. Now, obviously, that's more of just a small example, but I don't know how I could have affected him in that. Because, a lot of times if I'm in the store, sometimes I'm just tunnel vision. Especially when I'm in the store, I'm coming here to accomplish one thing: get these groceries, get these appliances, get whatever I need, and get out. And sometimes I'm like I'll tune out things, I'll tune out noise, all of that. And if I would have done that at that moment, maybe I'm sure somebody would have gotten the thing for him, the coffee maker. But uh, it just happened to be me. So I'm just grateful that I was able to. That noise in my water bottle, by the way. But I don't know how it sounded over the mic because I know it can sound a little bit crazy. Anyway, yeah, but I don't know how it affected him. But he told me how it made his day, and I didn't think it was anything serious. So I just grabbed the coffee maker for the guy. But you just never know. But it's little stuff like that where you can leave an impact on people and you don't even recognize it. You don't even understand it. Like you could be walking past somebody and you say, "Oh, I like that outfit." And you might actually like the outfit. You're just walking past. You don't know what that person's going through. You don't know if they're insecure about, their outfits, or they don't feel good about themselves. And you just never know. That one compliment might have changed their day. So it's just stuff like that. But your actions matter. They matter immensely. They matter uh a lot, and they can and they will. You know, your actions can and they will impact someone's day. So it's like I think we just need to be cognizant and aware of how we're treating people, how we talk to people, how we speak to people, how we interact with people, because what we say and how we say it all plays a role into how people, not even how they view us. Because I think what's wrong with this world now is that people care too much about what other people think and how they view them. But it's more so that we need to just be more intentional about how we're presenting ourselves, but not for other people to view us a certain way, but how God should view us, right? So I think uh just knowing that our actions, they matter. And it's like as simple as, it's like things like this where I'll keep it up. I'm not trying to give away all the stuff I say or everything, the way I interact with everybody, but it's not even secrets, but it's just how I talk to people. But I might walk past a girl, and sometimes it comes out the wrong way, and I've had to learn the hard way. But I'll just tell a girl, I'll recognize that she changed her hair. I don't even have to know her. I've just seen her walking past, and I'll just tell her, "Oh, I like your hair. I like what you did to it. You changed it. You curled it, whatever." Cause I don't know, I kind of have a keen eye for stuff like that. I don't even have to know you like that, but if I'm talking to you, like I could tell if you change your makeup or you put certain stuff on. I kind of have a good eye for stuff like that. So if I see a girl, she changes that, and I happen to feel comfortable enough to say something, I'll say it. But it's little stuff like that where it's like it's not me trying to. And sometimes it's I've done that, and then girls think they thought that I was trying to get at them, but that is what it is. I'm not stopping that. I'm not gonna stop complimenting people because of that. But I brought that up to say, like, you just never know how that could affect somebody's day. Um, so like a simple compliment can make someone's day. You just never know what people are going through. You never know what they're dealing with. Like I remember, I'm not gonna say the person's name, but I'm just trying to give an example so you guys can understand. But it was uh it was one day I'm doing this group project. It was me and three other people, and we're working on, maybe it was four other people, but I know for sure it was three other people. We're working on this group project, and nah, it was three other people because it was four of us. Anyway, that's not the point. We're working on this group project, or we have a group presentation we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do it on like some movie. It doesn't really matter what the group project is about, but it was a group project, and we're just like brainstorming, figuring out who's gonna do what slides and what information we're all going to add to the slides or whatever. And I don't know how it got brought up, honestly, or how it was even prevalent in the situation. But one of the girls, it was a girl, but she started talking about basically her relationship slash situationship slash predicament ship, whatever you want to call it. She was, going on a tangent about it. And it was one of those things where it's like, she was talking about it, and you're just sitting there listening. You like, you going through this? Oh, this is crazy. And you just sitting there listening. And it was one of those where she's going on for maybe 15 minutes straight without anyone really responding. And you could tell like she needed to get all of that out. You feel me? Like she needed to vent, and she needed to uh you could tell she hadn't talked about it with anyone for real. Like she was just getting it out right then. Maybe that wasn't the place for it, but it was because of the people that are around. Like the people, it was me and two other people, and they're they were great people, so they weren't judging or anything. So they were just listening. And so it was a good space for her to do that in. But you just she just needed to get that out. And I just brought it up to say, like, you just never know what people are going through. So uh when because sometimes I know God reveals certain things to me sometimes where like what people might be going through or how they feel or how they interact, or they might do this because of that, or they might say this or hang around these people because of this. Um that's I feel like God sometimes speaks to me with that. I think it's just discernment sometimes, like him showing me, okay, this person might be going through this, so you probably need to um do this or speak to them this way, or just give them the benefit of the doubt. Because if I'm being honest, there's sometimes I'm still irritable, right? That's still something I'm working on. But I've gotten better as I've gotten older. I've learned to negate the rage bait, uh, or eliminate the rage bait, whatever you want to call it, as far as people trying to bait me and saying goofy stuff and ticking me off. That still happens daily, but that's something I'm still working through. I brought that up though because there's sometimes people will say some crazy stuff or say stuff that lacks common sense. And that's one of my pet peeves, when people say things and they do things that lack common sense, and they're the epitome of why common sense isn't common. That stuff really irritates me and it irks my soul, and it really just it. I can go on a tangent about that, and I can give real deal examples, but I'm not gonna violate anybody today. That's not what this is for. Um, but I just brought that up because there's times where I have to hold back, and this person might have said this, or this person might have had this attitude, and okay, they might be going through this. So I'ma just, you feel me? I'ma let you have it. I'ma go out my way to be nice to you. Cause maybe you need that, right? Maybe you feel like it's the world against you or you against the world. You just never know what people are going through. So sometimes, and I'm not always good at it, sometimes I have to snap on somebody just because, not just because, but sometimes I'm not gonna let anybody disrespect me, but sometimes people say stuff and it's goofy and it's just like, I'm gonna just listen to you, and then I'll just let you move forward off of that. But maybe you need to get that out, right? Maybe um, me not responding in the way you thought I was gonna respond, maybe that gave you a different paradigm or gave you a different outlook on the whole situation or just life in general. You just never know. Uh, it's the same thing. Like going back when I was talking about when I was speaking about like during games and stuff like that, helping people up, where like they might there's been times, multiple times where I went to go help somebody up and they didn't want it at first. Then after the third time, then they want to get then they're like, okay, whatever, because now they're looking at it in a different light. And you just never know how you subtly impact people, bro. Like uh I remember my mom used to tell me this. She always used to tell me, because like I told y'all, I used to curse all the time, use profanity, but I've never heard my mom use a profane word ever. Uh, so when she used to say um, when she was working, or she's working, sorry, but I remember she told me the story that, or this happens all the time, but she was telling me a specific story, but she was saying how, when she's a teacher, so when she's at school, there'll be people that other adults, and they'll be cursing and stuff like that and saying all that. But when they're around her, they filter themselves naturally sometimes. Because when people are living a certain way or they carry themselves a certain way, sometimes it like subconsciously makes you try to gear or navigate or steer your actions or the way you interact with them based on how they are. Um, so it's like that. Like my mom was unintentionally impacting them. And they probably, as soon as they left her presence, they probably just got back right to using curse words. But the fact that like the curse words came like they subsided or they weren't used at all around her. And a lot of times they'll be like, "Oh, we're around." I ain't gonna say my mom's name, but they're around Miss Watson, blah 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 blah. Oh, y'all can't say nothing around her. Like they're saying it facetiously, but or jokingly rather, I guess at that point. But uh, it's still like impacting them. Like they're not using those words or that type of language around her, and it might just be for that time, but that's still making them think about it and be aware of like what they're doing. So you just never know how you're impacting people. Now, I gave examples as far as like compliments and stuff like that, how you talk to people, how you interact with people, but also just how you carry yourself. How you carry yourself, and it goes back to the episode a couple weeks ago about like shining our light. Like we intentionally and unintentionally impact people, and it's up we when we act a certain way and we're shining our light and being a beacon of God's light, then we can make people subconsciously change their point of view or develop and grow and mature just by being just by them being in your presence or vice versa. So it's amazing to see sometimes when you could see people change or try to uh you know grow due to being around the right people, being around the right friends, uh you know separating themselves from other people. Like you just never know the impact you have on somebody. And all these days, it's a plethora amount of ways, and it's a surplus amount of ways to impact people. There's not You can't put it in a box. But I'm just giving certain examples off the top of my head, and yeah, it's just we can always impact people and change someone's day. You just never know how. Uh, this verse that I was reading the other day, uh, First Timothy 4, verse 12, it says, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. But set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." Uh, I forgot the exact verse. It was a verse that preceded that verse. Um, Actually, I'm gonna go back to it for you guys and look at it because I thought it was important when I was reading. Um, oh, okay, it was a few verses before, but it was verse 8 for First Timothy 4 verse 8, but it was saying for physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. But yeah, that was the verse I was thinking of, but that's not really related. But I do like that verse. I took a screenshot of it. But going back to the verse I was speaking of, First Timothy 4 verse 12, where it says, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech and conduct and love and in purity." Um, it's basically what I'm saying. Like we can impact people, and it's going back to shine our light, but we can impact people with our actions. Um, it says in speech, in conduct. So that's with what we do with our actions. In love, how we treat others. In faith, how we um how we endure pain, how we maneuver trials, how we depend on God. That's faith. In purity, how we live out our life the right way, resisting temptation, fighting lust, things of that nature. So all of those things where, like it says, but set an example for the believers. So when we're doing those things, when we're living a certain type of way, we're impacting our fellow, uh, the fellow congregation, our fellow believers, our fellow uh, friends and family and things of that nature. So when we look at it like that, and it says just because you are young, it doesn't matter what age. It's 60, 70 year olds out here not living life how they should, not making a difference whatsoever. Yeah, I'm not saying you have to be in the forefront. I'm telling you, you can do it from working at Petco. Nothing wrong with Petco. That's just what that came in my head. Pause. That was crazy. Whoa. Um, that popped up into my head. My fault, y'all. That was nasty work. But yeah, it doesn't matter where you work, what your occupation is, how long you've been working that job, who you're around. We all can impact somebody, and we can all change someone's day. Excuse me. So that's what that verse. I like that verse because it says, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young." It doesn't matter how young you are, and I know, shoot, I know as um definitely in Black culture, you have the older people in your family. They definitely, when you're young, it's like you can't say anything sometimes. It's like, boy, be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. You ain't living that life. You feel me? Like it's like you haven't lived enough life whatsoever. You haven't done anything. And a lot of times it's true for surely. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it misconstrued. A lot of times, just people in general, when we're young, we don't know what we're talking about. We're just chatting. I can tell you that from my little brother right now. He thinks he knows things and he does not. He thinks he can get away with certain stuff, then he has to be quickly reminded that he can't, that he doesn't. All darkness comes to the light. That's my mom, used to spam that. So uh it's that aspect of it that's cool. It's like just because we're young doesn't mean we can't set an example for people older than us. You could be 15 showing a 30-year-old how to conduct themselves. Like when you can be in a situation where you have a superior and they're way older than you and they're acting a certain way, but you treating them with grace and you showing them love and you let them act how they are, and you're still treating them, showing them love and giving them grace and giving them mercy, showing them mercy. You're teaching them. You're setting an example for them. So it's things like that where it's like, hey, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. We can all make an impact on others. Um, Getting towards the end a little bit here. Sometimes we have to go out of our way, right, to love others. Love isn't some simple thing, but it's not something hard either. Now, it is hard, but I wouldn't say it's simple either. Um, Wait, what? I don't know what I just said, but love is not hard or it's not simple either. It's it's something that you, again, kind of what I spoke on a while back, but it's something you have to choose to do every single day, right? It's like an action. You have to choose to do it. And sometimes we have to go out of our way to love others, right? It's not just some simple science. It's not just a math equation that you can figure out. It can look in all different types of ways, but I think maybe sometimes for your people who are closer to you, and it could be people who you don't know like that, you have to go the extra mile to meet them where they're at. Um, I can tell you this for sure. I have teammates who I have to go the extra mile for. And I ain't gonna say that name because it's all love, attitude, and gratitude over here. Hey, my my young bulls on the team too, little 18, 19-year old little freshman. They made a little acronym for it, which is obviously it's easy, but they start saying lag. I'm not gonna be saying lag. I'm not gonna say lag on here like that, but if I slip up and say it, that's where it came from. Love, attitude, gratitude, just the acronym for it. They've been spamming that the past few weeks, so that's been funny to me. But yeah, we have to go out of our way to love others sometimes because maybe they're not making it easy for you. Maybe they're, being extremely difficult. Uh I hope this isn't the situation that you're in, but say you're in a marriage where which that's a whole nother topic I can get into. But say you're in a marriage and your spouse isn't it's just they're not doing what they're supposed to do. It's not a great it hasn't been a great relationship, or it's not a great relationship, or they're not trustworthy, or they're not dependable, or uh whatever the case may be. Sometimes you have to go out of your way, and when it gets to a point where you're going out of your way to love them, and you're still giving them grace, still showing them mercy, and they're not really doing anything to receive it, you still do it, but you still have to know that it might be okay. And I'm not trying to give marriage counseling here because that's not, I've never been married, so I can't speak on that. But, you know, don't think that you can't leave or you can't depart, but you could still show them grace and still show them mercy and still treat them with love. That's a whole nother topic I can get into, but I was just bringing that up because sometimes the people closest to us that we have to go out of our way for, and we have to again meet them where they're at because they're not trying to budge whatsoever. And that's okay because sometimes God has equipped some of us to be able to withstand the pain. Well, we're all equipped to it, but some of us just choose to do it and some of us don't. But some of us um have the ability to uh and again, I think all of us are equipped with the ability to weather the storm. But again, it depends on how we live our life. If we're going to do it with God or we try to do it by ourselves. But getting back to the point, it's some of us who are stronger than others mentally. That just is what it is, and we have a stronger relationship with God. And it might be the case where okay, they're treating me this type of way, but I'm not gonna snoop down. I'm not gonna stoop down to their level. I'm not going to fight fire with fire or an eye for an eye. I'm just gonna meet you where you're at. I'm gonna treat you with love and grace, and I'm gonna show you how to. I'm going to try, as the verse said. I'm going to set an example for the believer in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity. So those different things, I think that helps in that. Uh, Again, it affects people positively, and that's really what it's about, honestly. So this is something else that kind of I wanted to put this verse because when they're during senior night again, which is this whole thing is derived from, or made me make like want to talk about this because of it. Um, they told us to put something that we would tell my teammates. Um, like as it was three seniors, me Brown, me Reek, and Landers Ryan, and one of the last questions that we had to answer. So when they were like announcing our names and stuff like that, what we would tell or what advice we would give to our teammates. And one of the things I put for that advice, it was never just think about yourself. It might sound simple, but it applies in life. Now that could apply to life, basketball, whatever, relationship. When you think about yourself, is life. Yeah, it might seem good sometimes. You might receive certain things. You might even be wealthy, monetarily. Um, but life isn't really fulfilling when you're only thinking about yourself, when it's only about you. Um, and I meant that and I mean that. It's just when you only think about yourself, you can only get so much out of life. Life is about building relationships and loving others and leading with love and not leading with fear. So when we think about others and we think about how our actions affect others and how we have impact on others, it changes the way we see things. So I brought that up because it's this verse, First Corinthians 10, verse 24. No one should seek their own good, but the good of others. Now, does that mean that you don't want good for yourself or you don't want anything good to happen for you? No, it absolutely doesn't mean that. It just means that we should be so concerned and so focused on loving others before ourselves that naturally, um, the love that we're showing others is going to trickle down to us. It's kind of like a mother's love, or it's like a family member's love. They're thinking about their son or their daughter so much, and um, that love is going to come back around. Now, sometimes you're pouring in somebody's cup and nobody's pouring in yours. There's situations that happen like that, but for the most part, we need to, well, no, definitely all the time, we need to be unselfish and put others above ourselves. That's something I pray for every day, where it's like, Lord, please bless me put other people's needs ahead of mine. That's something I've been praying for probably over a decade now, like every single day. Um, and it's something that is dear to me because I don't know, I just pride myself in, I don't even want to say helping other people, but just positively affecting and positively impacting people. And I felt like that for a while, like since a little kid. I just want to. It's not even the fact that I just want to uh, put a smile on people's face, but in a sense, I do. Like I want people to feel good about themselves, and like I want them to feel great about themselves, and I want them to um feel. I'm trying to figure out the correct wording, but I just want them to feel um amazing, in a sense, as far as, again, where it goes back to compliments, where it goes back to um like just speaking to people a certain way. Like I've prided myself in that, as in I don't want to be viewed as like a cocky, like self-absorbed person. Now, confidence is different, but that's another topic for another day. But I don't want to be viewed as a self-absorbed, selfish person. When people talk about me, I want them to be able to say that he always looked out for others. He treated them the right way. He loved them. Um, he made them feel great. He made them feel great about themselves. He was always thinking about them. Like that's what I want to be described as. And that's why I brought this verse. Like, but no one should seek their own good, but the good of others. Like always looking out for other people, always trying to give them game, always trying to pass the knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, understanding that God gives us on to the next person, whether they receive it fully or not. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And yeah, that's really where I wanted to dive into a little bit. Just uh, that last point I wanted to talk about being unselfish, and being unselfish is you're gonna naturally want to do things for others and naturally want to. It doesn't. You're not gonna view it as, "Oh, I gotta do this for this person. Oh, oh, if I do, oh, I ain't gonna lie, she's gonna love this, or bro, he gonna like this. It's different stuff like that. And when you look at it from a different paradigm, in a different standpoint, it it just helps you in life, and it helps me in basketball. Like obviously, I'm a point guard, so But today, point guards, they're not even point guards anymore. But I still take pride in, and I could do both, thanks be to God, because of the skill I've been blessed with. But I don't go out there playing trying to, okay, I'm gonna score this many points. I don't think I don't ever think like that. Like, okay, I'm gonna go out here and try to go for it. I don't care. I let the game speak to me, and I just make the right read. Now there are some times where I go in the game, I'm okay. I'm gonna get my boy going tonight. I'm gonna try to look for him. But that's the unselfishness, whereas I feel like God's just He's built me that way, and it's also from how I've been brought up. It's just something I take pride in. Like, it's not about me, you know. It's never just about me. I'm a part of the equation, but I'm a small part of the equation. So it's like, if everybody else eats, then eventually I'm going to eat. You know, instead of, okay, let me make sure I get my food. You know, hopefully it's enough left for everybody else. You feel me? I think that's a lot of times how we approach it. I'm gonna make sure I get my food, but shoot, I hope hopefully y'all get some too. I want y'all to eat too, but like, I gotta eat some. Like, no, I look at it the other way around. Hey, y'all boys good? Y'all boys good? Y'all got enough? All right, let me see what's left. And maybe that sometimes that might bite me in the back, but or the behind, whatever it's called. But uh, I think that's the way to look at it, and that's the way to go about life. And it helps me in the long run. It's helped me in the long run in life, and it's also helped me in sports where, you know, sometimes I might not score as many points because I am being OD unselfish. Where I'm trying to get my brother going, where I'm not really focused on scoring like that. I'm trying to do what's best for the team, trying to keep everyone's morale up. I'm trying to uh keep their spirits up because I know if they have a bad game today, they're done. They're gonna shut down. So it's just those type of things, trying to like navigate that and be unselfish. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted to bring that up and just give a few different examples how you impact people and whether they recognize it or not. But kind of wrapping up how I usually wrap up, just praying, man, like praying for different certain things. I told y'all that I pray every single day about um, you know, praying for other people's needs ahead of mine. But another thing that I would say we all could pray for is pray that we impact people positively. That's something I also pray for, that I've been praying for the past few years, specifically about like, Lord, please bless me to impact people positively, right? So trying to, whatever I'm doing, however I'm doing it, whenever I'm doing it, that I'm positively impacting somebody's day, positively impacting somebody's life. And I'm making them feel love. I'm making them feel wanted, cared for, appreciated, all those things. And it's crazy. Now that I'm thinking about it, what I've been praying for the past few years, God has been giving it to me with that specifically. Um, I've been able to see it. I saw it yesterday at senior night. People that, to be honest, I don't even know their names, and they're coming up to me telling me how much uh they appreciate me, and that just makes me smile. That makes me feel uh it makes me feel good because I know I'm growing and I'm doing what God wants me to do. And again, I'm impacting people and trying to spread the word and, you know, spread the gospel and try to no one's perfect, no one's gonna be perfect. I'm not trying to, you know, act as that either, but just trying to treat people the right way and treat people how I want to be treated, and just live my life for God most importantly. So that's where I'm at, y'all. That's why I would say pray to impact people positively. That's something that I would say that we need to pray about. And again, I'm telling you from firsthand experience that is prayer works. I prayed that specific prayer again for the past few years, every single day, and I've been able to see it come to fruition. So we all just need to keep praying for whatever we want and yearn for, as long as according to God's will, He'll give it to us. So that's what I would say, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I thought this episode was gonna be a little bit shorter, but that's fine. I never have a certain time limit on these things, but yeah, I'm thankful for y'all listening. Thank you for the love, support, the appreciation. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. Follow both podcast pages on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Um, Follow me on Instagram, Count on Joy Pod. All my links are in the bio. Also on my main page, if you follow my main page, my Instagram, Count on Joy Pod Instagram page will be on there. Also, all the links to the to the podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, even TikTok. You know, I don't like TikTok, but you know. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for listening, man. Again, y'all comment, y'all let me know how y'all what you guys think, what your experiences are, what else you guys want me to talk about. I'm open to everything. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for listening. Thank y'all for a little support. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, keep God first. Love, attitude, gratitude, and I'm out. Peace.